The people's quote of the day: a fool thinks he's wiser than 7 counselors. You are now listening to episode 11 of the People's Mentors podcast featuring yours truly, Juan Pablo. DJ Cool, play a foolish instrumental, please. All right, we're back. Today's topic is cultivate a board of advisors. Now, we're going to go over several points in today's podcast episode. Number 1, be humble. Hold up. Number 2, outsource the things you don't know. And number 3, have an advisor for every arena of life. Now, I came up with these podcast questions and topic as a result of the people's question. And this is from a disgruntled family member who's working at a job he doesn't like. And he made mention to this to me via text message. I know my credit is bad, so do you still want me to reach out to a mortgage broker? Of course. Even if your credit is not up to par, I still advise you to seek counsel from a board of advisors called a mortgage broker. Now, if your credit is subpar, that's perfectly fine. The mortgage broker's job is to shed light on areas in regards to your credit or your income where it's dark that needs to be corrected. And if you are interested in credit repair, we actually provide that at 100percentfinance.com. But I mentioned to my cousin, just because I say reach out to a mortgage broker, I didn't give you any asterisk. I didn't say, well, don't reach out to him if your credit's not up to par, or don't reach out to him if you don't have documented income, or don't reach out to him because of this or that. No, reach out to him. You need his counsel so he can advise you on your financial matters. So I want you to take that to heart as well, because I don't want you to walk around having an inferiority complex. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not adequate enough. My credit's not good enough. My credit's not adequate enough. My money's not good enough. My money's not adequate enough. So why even try? Don't have that same mindset. Obtain a board of advisors and show them all, even if it may be somewhat embarrassing. Okay? Got it? So shout out to you, cousin, for reaching out to me about that. I greatly appreciate that. So let's get into the topic. Number 1, be humble. In other words, you're not a know-it-all. It takes a level of humility to confess that, you know what, I'm not the best at this task. I might not be the best in regard to getting qualified for a mortgage because I never became licensed. I didn't take the 3-hour exam. So maybe I should reach out to someone who knows something a tad bit more than I do. Or you know what, I'm not the greatest at recording a podcast. So you know what, maybe I should reach out to DJ Cool and leverage his expertise, his know-how, his knowledge, and see if he can make this podcast better than the one that we used to have a year ago. You have to be humble, understanding where your strengths lie and where your weaknesses lie. So even though I mentioned about being humble, it also takes a level of self-awareness, knowing your strengths, knowing your weakness, and having the courage to outsource your weaknesses to someone else who can be great at it because you like that greatness. And let's be clear about this too, guys. Who cares about your opinion? Who cares what you think? Your unscientific opinion truly doesn't matter. So what am I getting at? Many people say, oh, I believe we should do ABC. Well, according to who? Is it backed by science? Is it backed by you doing the research? No. Then why would you move forward in doing a certain task if you didn't do the research necessary to see if it was viable or not? Wouldn't it make more sense that if you're green, so to speak, in regard to embarking upon a new venture or a new endeavor, that you should reach out to someone who's well experienced and well knowledgeable of that subject? It does make sense. So people always got opinions, right? Oh, I think with your podcast, Juan Pablo, you should do this. Well, you have a podcast? No. Then why are you making this? It's unscientific. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sound pompous and let you think that, Juan Pablo doesn't listen to anybody or whatever. I get it. You don't have to be an expert in making a podcast to make a statement that, hey, your podcast sucks. I get that. You can perceive the value. But what I'm saying is, in regards to your own life, if you are dark in a certain area, let's say it's your personal finances, whether it's getting qualified for a mortgage or business funding, you should take the necessary steps to have someone who's a counselor who's wiser than you advise you in that area. Again, it takes a level of humility, self-awareness, and searching someone who actually knows more than you do. So number 2, that comes to my second point. Outsource the things you don't know. That's what I did getting started into real estate investing. I was using my personal finances, my savings, my retirement account, and so forth to finance or fund my real estate investment deals. But then it came to the point that I would run out of cash and I wanted to obtain more capital. So what did I do to obtain more capital? I reached out to a business credit advisor, someone who knew a tad bit more than I did about acquiring business credit cards. And he advised me on the steps I need to take to get multiple rounds of funding to the point I have over 25 credit cards. Outsource the things you don't know, you're not great at, you're subpar at, you hate doing it, you're procrastinating at, and this is the kicker right here. Even outsource the things you're decent at. If you don't have the interest or the talent to be great at something, you have no business doing it. You should outsource it to someone called a counselor, or have a counselor advise you on how you become great in that area. Now, number 3 brings to a third point. Have an advisor for every arena of life. So in this podcast, we talk a lot about finances, real estate, funding, and so forth. But as you well know, there are many different facets of life. You have your spiritual life, your physical life. You also have your relationships. You also have your mental aspects of yourself. There's many different arenas of life. So you want to make sure you have an advisor for each area. So when I work out, I have an advisor as well. It might be Beachbody on Demand. Someone advising me, hey, on Mondays, you do chest and back and arms. On Tuesdays, you do lower body and you also do abs. On Wednesdays, you do stretching, you do yoga, blah, blah, blah. I have someone advise me on my health. And then relationships, you can use a counselor called a preacher who can advise you on your relationships. Or you can go to a therapist if you need someone to help you out with that. There are many different counselors from many walks of life who are willing to bestow upon you their wisdom, their experience throughout the ages to help you become a better person so you can be a greater version of yourself. But I know what you're thinking. Oh, but all that stuff costs money. To have an advisor, a dietitian to help you with your diet, a nutritionist too. Well, get the money. It's that simple. If it costs money, go get it. We live in a world of abundance. There's plenty of opportunities out there. And if you're listening to me, you're in the United States of America, we're in a capitalist society. Form more business and get capital to fund the things that you want out of life so you can be a greater version of yourself. That's the reason why I wanted to become wealthy, so I can have the best things life has to offer without using that lame excuse of, oh, it takes money to make money. Then go get it. It's that simple. All right? So that concludes our topic for today, but now we're moving forward with the People's Champ. Okay? Excellent. There you have it, my friends. So now we're going to switch segments in this program. You know it's that time for the People's Champ. The People's Champ goes out to no other than my young cousin who posed that question, the People's Question of the day. So being that he told me, oh, well, it's my credit. Why should I apply for a mortgage? I know I'm going to get shot down. Well, for one, you don't even know what your credit is to begin with. And for two, still follow my advice. If you selected me, your older cousin, to be your board of advisor, I expect you to execute what I told you to do. If I provide you with wisdom based upon my experiences, then do it. And shout out to him because I corrected him. I said, hey, apply for a mortgage broker, but I didn't say, oh, but don't do it because your credit's bad. No, if I tell you to do something, young man, then do it, please. It's for your benefit. It's not to your detriment. Within 5 minutes, he reached back out to me and said, hey, I called Jim, the mortgage broker you recommended. So shout out to you, cousin, for taking action. I understand you had reservations. You felt a tad bit inferior as a result of your credit. But being that I corrected you in a loving way, I didn't get on this case or nothing like that. I said, bro, I told you to apply despite what your credit was. We need to know answers. Reach out to a mortgage broker. 5 minutes later, he did it. So he's the people's champ of the day. Young man at the age of 21 years old, taking action on his financial future. So shout out to all you young people out there, you 20-year-olds, you 18-year-olds, you high school students, you young people out there taking action on your finances. I applaud you immensely.
Listen up. Let's get this money.
This podcast episode is sponsored by 100% Finance. If you're interested in getting started in real estate investing without using any of your own money and would like to obtain business funding, visit 100percentfinance.com to apply for the free consultation. In 2017 alone, we helped small business owners, real estate investors alike obtain over $5.5 million, and you can be in the same position as well. So you can quit your day job via passive income. The link is in the description. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's podcast. My last word of motivation is this: a mentor and an advisor is your shortcut to success. A mentor or an advisor is designed to help you minimize the mistakes you make. Not virtually eliminate, but minimize the mistakes you make. But if you have no counselors, like a fool has zero. That's why a fool makes a lot of mistakes, because he has no one to steer him or her down the right direction. All right, guys, so hopefully you found value in this podcast. If so, please share with others and subscribe. Download this podcast. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, this is to your success. Continue to earn passively, live passionately.
Peace.
DJ Cool.